Chris Palmer with chrispalmer.org. In today's practical on-page SEO tips video, I'd like to give you 2 practical, localized, or SEO tips that you can walk away from this video utilizing and deploying to drastically make an impact on your overall rankings, traffic, lead flow, everything that matters to you and your website. I don't want to waste any time. I just want to point out chrispalmer.org. If there's anything, whether it's education, training, consultation, service, if there's something that I can do that's SEO, digital marketing, content marketing, Google Maps, Google Business, or ads, we have you covered. With that being said, I don't want to waste any time here. Let's get into these tips. All right. Now, there's 2 things, but I want to start with one very simple idea, one simple concept. All right. And I'll show you inside of my site, but I want to lay it out so you can understand this affects 50% of the websites, people that come to me, business owners, localized business owners. I understand you're running your business. But let's just say, for instance, because this is fresh on my mind, I had a driving school come to me. All right. Now, I'm not going to point and say, there's the site. And, but what I will do is I'll give you some of the key terms and I'll share with you what I mean by stacking keywords and how this is drastically impacting and hurting your overall performance. So first and foremost, let's just say that this particular business does teen driving. Okay. Teen driving. All right. So they offer teen driving. They do adult driving. School, I believe is what it is. Okay. Now wait a second here. All right. Here. They do teen driving. I actually think it's teen drivers ed. Okay. Boy, I don't like that. All right. Oh, I see. All right. So teen drivers ed, adult drivers ed. All right. And bear with me here. I know, hey, I'm here to showcase a lesson. I'm here to help your business. All right. So bear with me when, it looks like they've updated their whiteboard. So I'm not a whiteboard specialist, but I am an SEO specialist. All right. I think about and do and deploy this every day. I look at this, think about this, deploy this, and work on sites all day, every day of my life. All right. So bear with me here. All right. So teen drivers education, adult drivers, but then they'll do drivers ed, right? Education. All right. And then on top of that, this will never happen again. So there's drivers ed, and then driving school. All right. Let's spell that correctly. All right. For the grammar police out there. Driving police. Yes. So with that being said, here's one of the issues. I'm going to cover a bunch of things, but there's 2 main concepts that I'm going to address. And then I'll show you inside the WordPress site where you can address this and fix this type of issue. All right. Now, when we're taking a look at this particular, let's pretend that this is a website. All right. And not only is this a website, but these are the services that we provide. All right. So if we know that we provide these services, all right, we do this one, we do this one, and we do driving school. Now, here's what I mean by stacking or doubling up your keywords and how it's hindering your performance. And then I want to talk about how you're doubling up or hindering your performance by utilizing stacking mechanisms or variation mechanisms of keywords on other pages within zones that are only set forth for optimization. And I'll explain to you what exactly I mean by this. So if we have driver's education, adult driver's ed, driver's education, and driving school, right? These are our 4 services. But at the end of the day, if I have teen drivers And then you have, let's talk about a title tag. Title tag. Inside of the title tag, and then again repeated inside of our H1 here, here's what I'll notice you'll do. You'll do adult driver's school, teen driving lessons, right? Like, yes, they're very, very similar. And then on top of that, what you'll do is you'll come down in here and apply this to your own business. This deficit, this practical tip, this element is wildly hindering your overall performance for your optimization of your pages. Now, think about this in your own business. Maybe you're a roofer. Maybe you do roofing contractor. You do commercial roofs. You do residential roofs. You do maybe you're a chiropractor. You do sciatica and back pain. They're very similar, but they're standalone assets. And we're going to talk about this, but understanding this concept is massively important. All right. It's one page, one idea, one concept, right? Regardless of how advanced Google becomes or how advanced you think Google is, it can still only process what you tell it. And if we want to be optimized or be optimal for the SERP, then we need to be optimal for the primary term that we want to rank for. And even if something is semantically related, it does not mean that in primary optimization zones, we should have these primary key terms. Does this make sense to you? Like, stacking up adult driver school and teen driving lessons together does not make sense. What would make sense here in this particular equation, and think about this for your own business, and then again, if you put this inside of your H1, let's just say, for instance, you were to then come up here and you were to take this right here. I just want to show you something here. Then what I'm seeing is they're then taking, and of course, we understand that the title tag is what you're showing the robot, and then the H1 is what you're showing humans, correct? Right? So then, of course, because we are practicing good SEO and we pick up half of what is taught on the web, we're then repeating what is inside the title tag inside of our H1. Now, let's talk about more of a blunder, and then we'll talk about how we can fix it, and I'll show you inside of a WordPress site. So here's where another blunder, utilizing the same thought process, which in my opinion, you can do it more optimally, is then you're coming down into your H2s and your H3s, right? And then we're stacking where we have internal links. We're cross-referencing services inside of H tags, and we're cross-referencing pages and or locations, right? So inside of H2s and H3s, you'll have, adult drivers ed. So we're trying to get variations. Then down here, you'll have teen drivers education school, right? But you have to know, we have individual pages for adult, for teen, for driver's ed, and driving school. We have pages, but we're stacking or doubling up keywords based upon services that we provide, right? But I want you to think about this small blunder. If, in this particular instance, teen driver's education and adult driver's education are features of driver's education and or driving school. So that would mean that I could create a page that's based upon driver's education and then describe the features. We wouldn't want to have a dedicated page. And then, of course, this is going to be based upon volume and interest for the particular service. But think about it for yourself. Whether you're a roofer, a chiropractor, a dentist, what's the head term? And then, just like for your GBPs, what is the primary category? What is the main service? And then these are the features. Also, if teen driver school or adult drivers or driver education and driving school, right? These are the four. If the pages aren't worth building out a silo, and they're not worth paying for content to build out a silo, and they're not worth internal linking, they're not worth creating supporting content, and they're not worth allocating dollars towards backlinks, then we shouldn't have the page. This is what I see a lot too, that I want you to alleviate, right? Oftentimes you'll see an easy win. For instance, I'm not doing any homework. I'm just making a point. I'm just showcasing small lessons that I've learned along the way that can massively help you. What I want to point out here is when you take a look at this. So let's say, for instance, that driving school is not a big keyword, right? I know that it is, but let's say it's not. So you decide that your silo for driver's education, which is the most important thing, is you're going Houston, right? You do Austin, you do Fort Worth, okay? You do Dallas, you build out a complete silo. Now for driver's school, you're like, hey, you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to build it out for Houston. Just Houston. Again, if it's not worth allocating the time, resource, energy towards building out a proper silo, if the keywords doesn't support it, then don't build it. All right. Now I know we've talked about multiple ideas here, but the first one is you don't cross-reference features or primary services within titles, H1s and H2s and H3s. Instead, what should we do, Chris? Well, let me share this with you. Let's say, for instance, and then I'll talk about the next thing. Let's say, for instance, in your title tag, if the primary term is driving ed, right? So drivers ed, this driver's education. And then if you wanted to, driver ed, right? So this is how you stack, or this is how you would become or have a optimal or optimized heading tag. You see, I didn't put adult driver school or driver's lessons or driving lessons. I didn't talk about features like adult or teen. What I did is I took a primary term, driver's ed, and then I made variations of that term, driver's ed, driver's education, and driver eds. That could be the title tag. Then I would put the primary term into the H1, right? And then if I want to talk about teen, or I want to talk about adult or senior citizens or any of the features, you do not use H tags in order to describe a feature of a primary term. Why? Because it's taking away from the optimization of the page. H tags are not design elements. H tags are for optimization. And if we're optimizing a page and we want to be optimal for a term, for a service, then we only want to put primary terms and variations into our headers, especially our titles and our H1s. You with me so far? Excellent. Now, if I need you to deliberate on this, let's move to another concept, another idea. Okay, I bounce around a lot, I'm sorry, but there's a lot that I want to address in a short period of time or as fast as I can. All right, I want to give you the information because you can always go back. The next piece is, if you have, again, I'm using driving school because it's fresh on my mind, but think about your own service, your services, what's the head term, what are features of the term, what do you actually do? What is the main concept, right? Here's another element. I'll show you, I have a guy that he's pretty cool, so I'll go ahead and show you something. Let me share this with you. So we come over here. Here, let me clean this out and I'll share this with you. So I have a roofer in New Orleans, right? All right, I was helping this guy out. Roofer, New Orleans. This is a great guy, right? And I talked to him, okay? You want to keep the main thing, right? So for instance, here, I'll go down here and I'll show you something. Of course, he's underperforming because there's a magnitude of things that are wrong with optimization, but he's doing really good for what he knows and where he's at currently as far as SEO is concerned. He's still running a great business. With that being said, what I want to point out is we have a website. All right, this is just a random one. I talked to him this morning. He's cool. I know he watches this. But what I want to point out is I went through. He does roofing, and roofing is most important. Not only that, roofing is most important for him in New Orleans primarily, right? So if roofing is number one in New Orleans, why does the page not say it? If there's something that we absolutely have to have, then that means that we want to be optimal for that thing. And that would mean that we need to have a page that's secluded just for that thing. More importantly, I said to him, I said, hey, is this the order of importance? Roofing, gutters, siding, and insurance? Yes. Okay, what percentage of your business is roofing? 95%. Well, then what is the rest of the services doing here? Just for the off chance that they could potentially straggle their way in, let's focus on what the main thing is. Let's become optimal and rank for that. Okay. Especially in the areas or surrounding areas in which that we can actually perform the service. It's okay to put up the primary service pages, but allocation of time, budget, and resource needs to go into the primary thing that's going to generate business for you and your business and your family. Period. End. Right? With that being said, I said to him, okay, I noticed this a lot too. Let's point this out. All right. At no time should you create categories or pages that are just there for anchor text purposes. I see this all the time. Okay. Practical advice again for on-page SEO. Here, let me go ahead and show you this. So we have primary services here. When you click on this, it says roofing. Great. Perfect. This is a page or a post. It doesn't matter. Those two things don't matter. But what does matter is if you scroll down the page, right? And I'm just using this. I hope this is okay. I talked to him this morning. He said, yeah, go ahead. No problem. But see how we have this over here? Home improvement, home gutters, roof inspection, and roof repairs. Remember what we just talked about before? If it's not worth building out the silo, or if it's not worth it for you to spend money on links or allocate dollars towards content or building out a silo, and if it's not something that is top of the list meaning, hey, if you're not willing to pay, then you shouldn't be paying attention, right? At the end of the day, that's what it is. We're just talking about business here. So with that being said, if it's worth going after, then let's go for it. If it's not, then let's not focus our attention on that, right? And on top of this, let's click on one of these, house gutters. House gutters could potentially be amazing, and I'm sure there's dollars to be allocated towards this. But when you take a look at this, I want you to look at the URL structure. The URL structure or the slugs are up at the top. Take a look here. Do you see something wrong here? And I see this all the time. We have a page that's called category. Now, I understand that some builders, plugins, Shopify, there's things that make you do this. However, if it's putting it into place and you have the ability to optimize this particular spot in the slug, optimize it. On top of this, never, ever, ever inside of a structure have a page that's essentially this house gutters page is supporting the word category. And then the page that's in the structure is simply a dead page. I see this all the time. Oftentimes I'll see business owners, they'll put a primary thing up here, and for the anchor text, it will automatically make a page. Don't do this. The URL, the titles, the H1s, and the heading tags need to be assigned or aligned how people search. What do I mean by this? If I have something in the slug, it better be how people are searching. For instance, roofing New Orleans. If this category said roofing / roofing New Orleans, all right, now we're on target. You with me so far? Excellent. We don't want dead pages inside of our structure. We only want pages that have value. Another issue that I see for practical on-page SEO advice is going to be blogs. Blogs. I completely understand if you're an SEO agency, I understand you need to give your clients something. I get it, right? You have to give them a deliverable, but they're not buying deliverables. They're buying a result, right? I know a lot of you that are with me, you guys are doing SEO maybe for yourselves or for others. They don't care. You don't need a report is not as important as actual phone calls and leads. If the piece of content is not there to directly assist the sale, then we don't want that piece of content. Content is there to assist the primary services and to show depth of concept and to establish or whatever you want to call it, authority and trust. That's it. So how you set this up and how it should be set up is very, very simple in my opinion. If we have a page and we're talking about roofing, we should not have pages that are called our blog or whatever. It could be roofing tips, but more importantly, there shouldn't be a blog section. you're not a blog. And content on a service business, like a roofer, chiropractor, dentist, doctor, whatever service you're doing, the content is only there to support or assist a sale and to show Google that we're the expert. So in order to showcase that we're an expert, we need to show depth of concept. How do you do it? Well, there's certain questions that often come up. Does that ring a bell? Words that often come up when talking about a certain thing. LSI, relevance equals rank, right? We're building depth of concept. I'm talking about other topics that often come up when are talking about a primary service. It's the same as optimizing a page. It's the same thing. You with me? So if we're going to answer questions about, in this case, roofing, well, what does roofing cost? More importantly, how much does roofing cost in New Orleans? Who's the best roofer? When should I get a new roof? Where do I get a new roof? How much does it cost? Who, what, when, why, where, how? Now I've hit everything. And if you want to be aggressive, you make a best of list and you take away the traffic from businesses' names. Let me show you something. And I've talked about this particular topic before, but I want to show you something. Pick a niche, any niche. It doesn't matter. Any niche. Just pull it out of the air. Hen cleaning, right? What do they call it? Solar panel cleaning. This is cleaning up bird droppings from underneath a solar panel. Very odd, right? Let's look it up. Just something random, right? Watch this. So, solar panel cleaning, right? Or whatever. I don't know what it is, but I know what they do, right? Not Forbes. It has to be. So here, let's go to where is this prominent? California. Okay, watch this. How much do you want to bet that the number one piece of traffic, the reason why, remember, I'm elaborating on why you should create a best of list, okay? The number one traffic source for any business that is doing numbers is branded traffic. Traffic is the lifeblood of a website. If I take away the traffic, you get the picture. So what we're trying to do is not only take away traffic to compete and eliminate our leading competition, but I'm also trying to showcase to Google that, hey, we're the same. Because remember, how I teach things is match and mirror, right? So I'm matching and mirroring on page. I'm matching and mirroring referring domains and category. I'm matching and mirroring dwell times and traffic and clicks, right? But I'm also matching and mirroring literally the overall keywords that are coming to a site. So if there's a primary term, for instance, solar panel cleaning in California, and Google says, hey, this is the number one most relevant thing for this term, you're darn right I want their brand name to show up on my website. Absolutely. Because not only can I siphon, but now I'm more relevant for the term. Google's already spoken. Here's the list. So what are we going to do? I'm going to make a best of list. I'm going to slap me up at the top, and I'm going to put these other players down below. Watch this. I guarantee Premier Solar is their number one traffic source. Brand for winners is always the top traffic source. See, the guys down below got lucky. They created a blog without any proper optimization, and they got lucky. So they might go and get traffic for some weird term that doesn't even produce dollars for them. But the winners, they're getting traffic based upon their name and primary key terms. Watch, I'll show you. This isn't luck. There's no such thing of luck or mistakes with Google. It's pure math. That's it. There's no mistakes and there's no luck. It's a repeatable process. It's a guarantee. There's zero mistakes. If they make a mistake, it's rectified literally in seconds. Anyway, let me show this to you. All right, bear with me here. My brother and I utilize the same proxy, so bear with me. All right, so what we're doing right now is I'm trying to establish an understanding. So you know what I'm telling you. I mean, it's fact. We just pulled one out of the hat, right? Like whatever came to mind, right? So what came to mind here was this. So I don't know who this is, but Premier Solar Cleaning. Excuse me. So we go to organic traffic. Let's take a look at their top keywords. Primary key term. What else? Premier solar cleaning. Well, their name here. They're not getting primary key term. They're a winner. Let's go to the next guy. Okay, that establishes that. Let's go to the next person. Smart solar cleaning. How much you want to bet? Primary term or their name? Let's go to it. Here we go. Why is this asking me weird questions? I don't know. We're going to go to the next one. Slap it in there. This guy's getting traffic from weird places. That's kind of odd. Doesn't matter. I just want to prove the point one more time. So we're going to scroll down. Primary term or name. Primary term. Let's go. Let's look at the list. Let's look at the list a little bit better here. All right. They're not getting a bunch of traffic. These types of businesses never do. But their phone is ringing. Let's scroll down. So we can see it's all, look at one page, 21% primary term, 18% primary term, 17. This is variations of the primary term. What is their name again? Smart something? Smart, it's either primary term or brand. Primary term or brand. They're most relevant. Put their names in a page. Let's do one more together. Let's go grab one. Let's just grab one. Like, let's go back to roofing. Let's go to a crazy city. How about roofers in Houston, right? Houston's a huge city, insanely large, right? Tons of people. Let's go to the number one guy, Braun. All right, Braun it is. Copy. Let's go down. He's either winning for the dead term, primary term, because he's the king, or they are the king, I should say. He, she, them, that business, right? It's irrelevant. You know what I mean. Let's go see, right? Primary term or name. That's it. Let's go see. We'll see together. Bam. In this particular instance, it's name first, and then they start leading with the primary terms. This is often the case. I could show you more, but I just wanted to prove that out. Okay? Primary term or name. We want to get optimized with LSI, entity, primary terms, and one idea, one topic, one page. Optimize the page to get better optimization. Utilize businesses' names and make supporting content based on that, and answer all of the questions. Build depth of concept. Answer who, what, when, why, where, how. Why am I picking those particular questions? Or why do I pick those particular pieces of information? Easy. Let's come down here. Supporting or information is generally answering a particular question. So if we're looking for, watch, if I'm looking for keyword magic tool, if I'm looking for information about roofing, right? The questions are very evident. The ones that have traffic or interest are usually who, what, when, why, where, or how. Here, prove it to you. How, why, how, what. Make your decision. Which ones are getting traffic that directly support the primary service? It's easy. All right? And keep your blinders on. Primary service, supporting content. Primary service, supporting content. That's it. Or, hey, I have primary service. Location pages can be supporting content, or they can support the main idea. What do I mean by this? Here, look it. If I have website.com, you have to look at the SERP and see what Google's rewarding, just like we do for everything else. You do it for your on page, you do it for your backlinks. Why wouldn't I do it for structure? If Google's rewarding website.com/service plus city instead of website.com/service/service plus city, then do what is working. If Google is rewarding these types of pages, still create your top level page based upon the service like this, website.com/service. Always have a top level page. Why? Because I'm building depth of concept. I'm building internal links. I'm building like I'm the authority. I have the head page, I have location pages, and I answer every single question that actually has value about a topic. I also only build out pages that are hyper specific to a specific term. I don't cross-reference features with primary terms. I build a page that's hyper-optimized based upon a particular term. If there's something that's really, really similar, such as driving school or driver's ed, I make a decision or I go and ask Google, what do I mean by this? Here's what I mean by this. If you get into a pickle and you're like, should I create two silos? They both have a lot of volume, but they're so similar to one another. Well, then there's a simple solution. What does Google have to say? So if I look up driving school, California, and I see that it's California driver's course. Here, let's open this up. Go to Google. Driving school, driver's ed, California. And I look down the list. Look at, we got a new player, right? And if you're a grammar police, here, I'll click the button, but Google already fixes my grammar for me and then displays the result if you're new to Google. But I click the button just in case you thought that was bothering something. I get messages sometimes. Either way, but let's take a look. Driving, this is going to be .gov. And just because those are there, the number 3 person is the one that's getting all of the clicks. This will deter newbies, this type of stuff. Oh, the top 2 are already gone. Now, 99.9% of people are going to overlook those because they're looking for a solution. So when you see stuff like that, sometimes number 3 is not so bad. Anyway, I can see that this is .gov, ed course, scroll down, California permit, driver's ed, driving ed, Inc. I see the players, different sort order, but I don't see the Inc. guy. This guy's a new player. This guy's moved down. If you wanted to, depending upon city level, this looks like you could have 2 separate SERPs. I could have 2 separate silos, and they're not going to compete with one another as long as we don't cross-reference keywords. You with me? So far, what did we address? Well, what we talked about today was stacking of keywords in main optimization zones. The next thing that we talked about was only having one page, one idea, one topic, and creating an optimal page around it. The next thing that we talked about was creating supporting content. The next thing that we talked about was only having the main idea as the main idea. If there's something on your website, if it's not worth building out the site or building links or building content, then keep your focus on what's going to make you dollars. The next thing that we talked about was a blog is not there to write content. You're not a blog. Your website is not there to generate traffic or answer questions so Google can take your answer and show it at the top so you don't get a click. The objective of the website is to produce dollars for you, your business, your family, and your employees. So if it is not fulfilling that goal, then we don't do it. Right? Right. I hope this helps you. I really do. I hope this has been helpful. My name is Chris Palmer with chrispalmer.org. If there's anything like this that I could help you out with, whether it's on-page SEO, off-page SEO, pretty much Google Maps, on-page, local, anything SEO related, please never hesitate to go ahead and ask in the section below. And I look forward to seeing you in the next practical SEO tips video. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Real quick, let's see if you have any questions. If not, it's 2:00 in the morning. I'm out of here. Hey, Chris, hello to you. It's great to see you. Can you discuss how to choose between service, city, state service? I addressed that inside the video. This is based upon who is winning. Just like when we're matching and mirroring on page or backlinks or referring domains or traffic or clicks or dwell time, when we're matching and mirroring, the same applies to the structure that Google is rewarding. What's the intent and what is the structure? This goes back into, hey, Google's a closed system. What's winning? And but see, there's a million things that make up a website. Where the expertise comes in is understanding that, okay, having dashes in the name isn't as important as having the forward slashes in the name. You see, like I know that that's an irrelevant thing, but it's just something to point out so I could explain what I mean by this. Okay. The next question here, Hazif. Hopefully, I didn't butcher your name, my friend. If the location pages don't have much, if the location pages don't have much search volume, what's the point of creating them? If no one's searching for them, how will someone get business for them? If the location pages don't have much search volume, what's the point of creating them? Because just because the tools kick back 0 doesn't mean that it's not worth creating the page. Depending on your level of expertise or how you're creating your pages, or if you have age, like there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. But at the end of the day, the content creation, upload, and interlinking is the least costly thing. Now, if I could throw up a piece of content in 500 different locations and see what Google does with them, if they automatically rank 120 and these ones struggle, ditch those. Let's keep these. Let's retune the pages and start building links. And then we'll do another batch and see what Google rewards. We don't know what Google's going to do. We don't know what other keywords that page is going to rank for. Creating the content and uploading the content and doing that is, at the end of the day, the cheapest part of the equation, right? So let's see what Google does. And 2, pages rank for more than just the keyword you're optimized for in your title tag. All right. So again, a page could take off for multiple things. Plus, it's a beautiful thing. You're inside of a tiny little city, right? Or a tiny little town or county. You put up a page, it goes right to number 1. And yeah, that page only generates 1 call a month, but that's 1 free call. Oftentimes, when that person's searching, that's a sale. If you could get 1 extra sale by creating 1 piece of content, was it worth it? Off 99.9% of business owners that I talk to would say, yes, Chris. If I give you $20 or $10 and you're going to create potentially 1 extra lead, 1 extra sale for me, yes, it's worth $20 for you to do that. Oftentimes, if I give them the process, it's less than $1 to create that page, less than $1 to create an opportunity. Is it worth it? Fudge, yeah. All day. Hopefully it helps you out, brother. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your time. Many blessings. ProxyPixie.com if you need mobile proxies. SEOmastermind.org, consultations, consulting, and education. Services and consulting at chrispalmer.org. And soon to come, we have a suite of tools, review checker, keyword cannibalization, citation checker, a magnitude of tools at searchengineoptimizationtools.com. Thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm glad that I could help you out, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Good night. Bye-bye. You're the man. Jose, you too, brother. Great to see you too, man.